Okay, well, while Janiyah is getting her video sorted out, I'll kick it off and pass it to our moderator, who's Catherine Mandy. My name is Colby Lakis, and I am the Director of Recruiting and Professional Development for the School of Accountancy at Auburn University. And I'm the Beta Alpha Psi Honor Society faculty advisor. And so I get to work with great students like the panelists that you're going to hear from today. And we felt really strongly that we needed to start doing more high school outreach and talking about the benefits of a career in accounting and how it can serve you well throughout your career, no matter what you want to do with your in your job. So you're going to hear from our students who are at a variety of levels and have a variety of backgrounds about why they think accounting is so great. So thank you for joining us today. And Catherine, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thank you, Ms. Lakis. All right, so welcome everybody, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this recording later. So I'm just going to have our panelists introduce ourselves. So as Ms. Lakis said, my name is Catherine. I'm a junior in accounting, and here are our panelists.
Hi, my name is Julia Matthews, and I am a student in the Master's of Accountancy program at Auburn.
I'm Ashlyn, and I'm also a junior in accounting, and I'm doing a minor in supply chain as well.
Hey guys, I'm Jack. I'm a junior in accounting as well with a minor in English.
Hello, my name's Caleb. I am a sophomore and I am a candidate in just accounting.
Hi, my name is Janiyah Fryer, and my major is accounting with a minor in information management systems.
All right, so we are using the Q&A feature and the chat feature. So if you have any questions that you want to send us, I'll be monitoring that as we kind of go through this panel. So feel free to send something in. So to get started, as high school students, you're obviously taking accounting classes. That's why you're here today. So you're probably wondering like how this is going to help you down the line. And I want to hear from Janiyah with her pre-college accounting experiences.
So what made me choose accounting was in high school, I did a lot of extracurricular activities, and one of them was FBLA. And through FBLA, I was able to compete in accounting competitions. And in those competitions, it was started at a state level, and then I was able to go to nationals, and nationals was like in California once, and then it was in Baltimore another time. And so accounting helped me to travel places. I always wanted to go to California, so I was like, oh my gosh. And accounting helped me go to these places. So I was like, accounting is the place to be if it's taking me there. It's not acting, it's not singing. So accounting is really the place to be. And it really has so much underneath it that I didn't even know until I started learning more about it.
Yeah, you all are doing a great job of getting started. Like you can see it already helped her before she got to college, kind of get some new experiences under her belt. So once you get to college, there's plenty of other organizations that you can be a part of to kind of help you continue growing your knowledge, make yourself more marketable. So I want to hear from Caleb and Julia and what organizations they're part of.
Okay, yeah, I'll start with that. So I am a part of Diversity and Honors, and I am just starting out in Beta Alpha Psi. I've been in for about 2 months, but I really have enjoyed it. It gives you a major advantage because I've gotten to meet a ton of firms and a ton of employers. And yes, it has really helped me become more marketable in my own niche, I suppose.
An organization that's been really helpful to me and a good resource throughout college, and also is available after college, but it's the Alabama Society of CPAs. They offer so many resources to students, and the student membership is free, which is a nice perk. They do events such as like student interview day, where employers, kind of just like a career fair where employers come in and they're interviewing these accounting students for internships and full-time positions. And so it's also just a great interview experience with helping that professionalism. They also have like informational type events where you can learn about, speakers will come and talk about the CPA exam process, and like maybe using LinkedIn to help build your online presence. And these just kind of skills that you don't usually get in the classroom sometimes. So it really just helps you when you're going out on that job search. And then they also offer scholarships every year. I've been grateful to receive 2 of those scholarships. That's helped me be able to afford. So college can be expensive sometimes. So they're just a great resource, and they'll just also help you just throughout your accounting career with anything you could need.
Yeah, I think that the Alabama Society of CPAs, that student membership, is a really good opportunity that we have. And as Caleb mentioned, Beta Alpha Psi is another accounting related one. So we have employers come visit our meetings every single week. And so it's a great opportunity to stay afterwards and meet those professionals kind of outside of other networking events, because every student can see them at those. But once you're a Beta Alpha Psi member, you get that extra little bit of time with them. So it's a really good organization to be a part of. Some of the questions we got were, how can a degree in accounting, like what kind of jobs can you do? You can really go into many different fields, but Jack, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously there's the like CPA, tax and audit accounting line, but I think accounting sets you up really well for a lot of other fields. I, for a really long time, wanted to go to law school and be a tax attorney. And I still may, we'll see. But I think accounting is a great pre-law setup. Pretty much anything in finance an accountant can also do. Lots of like technology stuff, information systems. There's a ton you can do if you major in accounting. And that's why I chose it. I like the diversity of options.
Yeah, it's often called the language of business, so it's very mobile. Some other opportunities that we do have as accountants is you can work for the government with like the IRS or the FBI. Lots of CFOs and other executives, they start out in accounting. So if you want those big level jobs, those are often going to be accountants. And then you also can work for corporations. We've had students work for big companies such as Chick-fil-A, Facebook, Disney, Apple. Julia, I know you had experience working not with an accounting firm. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So I interned at Aflac, which, if you're not familiar with Aflac, it's an insurance corporation. And that was a good experience because I've also done like public accounting, which I might touch on that later. But I got to see I was in the investment accounting department, and I got to see the financial reporting side of what they're creating the quarterly reports and that sort of thing. And just touching on that versatility a little bit more, just working at that one company for a short amount of time, I met other interns who were majoring in accounting and employees that majored in accounting, and they were working in other departments such as internal audit, risk management, tax, investment accounting, such as me. So just in the one company, you could be all over the place with that accounting degree with whatever you're interested in.
And I see in the chat, we do have a question about starting private versus public. And that's totally up to whoever wants to start. Like, lots of students do start public, but we also have had students who go straight into those private jobs working for the corporations. So it's really just finding what you like. You can intern and over summers and try to figure that out. So there's definitely lots of ways that you can start, like I mentioned, with public versus private, but you've got to go to college first with a lot of these. So Ashlyn, can you tell us what made you consider accounting as your major?
Yes, so actually my mom is a CPA and I'm from Mobile, Alabama. And so back home, my family owns a business back there. And so I've kind of grown up in the business world ever since I was able to walk. So it's what I breathed and know. It's just a part of what I do. But anyways, with that, my mom being a CPA during high school and then during my summers in college, I was able to kind of shadow her and see what she does, and specifically in the tax area of things, because that's what I want to specialize in or go into is tax, and getting to see how she has been able to help people with their tax returns and help people understand, as Catherine had said, that accounting is the language of business. And so it's really helping it's helping people understand and get on the same level as you as to what's going on in accounting, because a lot of times the numbers and the law and whatnot can be confusing. But if I'm able to be that person that can help people understand what those laws are saying or how they can save money on their tax return, that's one of the main reasons that I started accounting, specifically with my mom, but then also into the tax area.
Yeah, that's great. And so you obviously knew pretty early on that accounting was a possibility, but not everybody can kind of make that decision. Caleb, I know you went a bit of a different route. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So, funny enough, my mom was also a CPA, but I most certainly did not want to do accounting because I didn't want to, I didn't want to follow right in their footsteps. I didn't think it was in the books for me. I wanted to be, different. So I started out at Auburn in the exploratory major, and I think it's specific to Auburn, but they made us take a bunch of assessments and a really long, like, vocational occupation kind of test, and it spit out for number one for me was auditor, and I thought that was a little bit insane. But as I looked through my list of different types of occupations, I found that accounting was a very, very big factor in all those. And so I kind of I looked a little deeper. I was still a little skeptical, but I found that most certainly accounting was right for me. And it definitely caught me off guard. But after being in it for quite some time now, I really have enjoyed it. It allows for analytical skills and communicative skills. So I've enjoyed it thus far for sure.
Yeah, so that's great. We've obviously all ended up in accounting, whether we started in a different major or just kind of started in the College of Business in general and didn't know where we were going to want to go. But some of us actually have minors. And so I was going to let y'all hear about some of the interesting minors that we've paired with accounting. Janiyah, can you talk about information systems?
Yes, I'm sorry, the walls are kind of thin here, but my minor is information systems management, which is really recommended for accounting students to have either a business analytics minor or information systems management minor. I chose information systems management because it appealed to me more. I also want to be a forensic accountant later on down the road. So I felt like those skills would help me later on develop. So, but first I have to start at auditing. So that's why I chose information systems management. And it really just goes over how to find risk, which is important in any business, how to read data. And big data is really changing corporations and companies. And it's the future. So if you know how to read big data, a lot of companies will want you.
Jack, could you tell us a little bit about your minor?
Yeah, so I'm an English minor, which is maybe a little non-traditional for accounting, but I chose it for two reasons. The first is, like I said, I've considered law school, and even if I don't go to law school, I want to work in some sort of like law adjacent field of accounting, like transfer pricing or mergers and acquisitions. Um, and then also, I just love writing and reading. And I think no matter what field you're in, communication is very, very important. Every interview, I make sure to like touch on communication skills, and I always seem to get a pretty good response to that. So, yeah, if you aren't interested in sort of the traditional accounting minors, I think English is a really strong thing that you can pair with it, and it'll give you some actual like functioning workplace skills.
Definitely, definitely. Ashlyn, can you tell us about your minor and kind of how you got into it?
Yes, so my minor is supply chain management, and I would say that this minor typically isn't one, like Jack said, that accountants typically choose to pair with an accounting degree. But the reason that I chose supply chain was actually during quarantine when we were back home. When I was back home, and everyone knows about the whole there's no toilet paper in the stores and how they couldn't stock it, and it was fascinating to me how this was happening, and it ultimately goes back to that supply chain, that transportation, and specifically with quarantine, how things were just shut down for a while. But transportation nowadays is a part of our everyday life. It affects what we do every single day, even if you don't realize it. And so I wanted to learn more about that. And I think that no matter what type of business you're in or what field of business you're in, I think that knowing how the supply chain works is a great thing to understand. And also with employers, they've seen that I've done the supply chain side of things, and that it's, and then especially if you're wanting to go in the corporate side of accounting, they like you to know that background of transportation and how it works, because like I said, if you work for Chick-fil-A, they have transportation flights coming in and out of every store every single day. And so having that understanding is definitely something in the world that we're in today, I think that is important.
Yeah, so you see, we've got a bunch of different minors, so you don't have to follow, a cut and dry path. You can kind of pick a minor that's interesting to you that you think will complement your studies and help you along the way, like in school and in the workplace. As Janiyah mentioned, some of our recommended minors are business analytics and information systems. We really like to, work on our tech skills, because Technology is becoming a lot more important. Computers are driving a lot of it. And I think it's important to note that accountants aren't really worried about losing their jobs because of this advancing technology. We're kind of using that to make us better. It's building us up. Caleb, could you kind of tell us about some of the tech classes that accounting students get to take that you think are beneficial?
So I think for me, what I have found to be exceptionally beneficial is the Excel class. We just recently took the associate exam, and I believe that when you look at a cumulative amount of data that you have to kind of break down, or maybe different kind of formulas, Excel is a major tool. I haven't gotten into maybe more like accounting information systems themselves, but I will say Excel in general for me has already done a world of help, even though I've been in it for about 2 months. So.
Yeah, and Jack, are you taking our accounting analytics class? And can you tell us about some of the programs we use in that class?
Yeah, I am. So accounting analytics, you get to kind of briefly touch on Excel and then move into some more like different areas of accounting technology. A couple we've used right now, we're studying Access, which is like a large database tool. A lot of the like big data stuff that Janaya talked about is stored by companies on Access. We also do Tableau, which is sort of like a information visualization software. And I want to say there's one more I can't remember, but I'm not a technology person at all. And I feel like I'm learning a ton and may actually not be the worst person with computers when I enter the workplace. So that's exciting.
Yeah, they're definitely very good about exposing us to things we may not use in our everyday life, because everybody's probably used Excel at some point for a school project. But we learn those advanced functions and we learn a whole lot more. And then, as Jack mentioned, we go into some programs that you'll use in the workforce. Julia, I think you were a double major. Could you talk about that?
Yes, so I double majored accounting and finance. I think finance pairs really well with accounting because you're learning about on a deeper level the things you have to account for. So it helps you with having that deep understanding when you're doing the audit, that sort of thing. So the investments such as I guess just buying stock in a company, the bonds, getting into more complex derivatives and that sort of thing. Having that finance like understanding of it, I think helps me with my accounting courses. And then, like I said, with Aflac, I was doing investment accounting, which is those investments, that financial side. And then we were doing the accounting for them. So it just kind of opens those sort of doors for you as well.
Yeah, that's great. To not have one but two really good business majors. I feel like it's going to be really beneficial as you kind of progress and you can have a lot of doors open for you. And so I kind of want to ask the panelists just kind of what their favorite thing so far has been about accounting, whether it's the people you've met or some opportunities that you've had.
I was going to say, I feel like my favorite part of accounting so far may have been the recruitment process, which is a process you go through where you kind of start meeting firms. You can meet big fours, corporations. That's how you start to learn a little bit more about accounting in general, because you start learning about auditing side. You start to choose if you want to do auditing or tax, if you want to be an advisor. And during that process, it went by really fast for me like this. And during that process, I was able to meet really great people and connect with people that I didn't think I would be able to. Now I have lifelong connections with people, even though I didn't necessarily choose to internship at that firm. After just spending a whole semester talking to them week in and week out, you build those relationships. And those relationships are going to be important down the road, because you never know if like, hey, I didn't actually like this firm. I thought I was, but I didn't. So you can actually just say, you can email them or talk to them saying, hey, I remember we met during the recruitment process while I was in college, this, that, and the third. And, try to get back in the door. So I feel like that's a great opportunity. And through Beta Alpha Psi and the busy classes at Auburn, I was beyond prepared I had my LinkedIn together. I knew how to email them. I knew how to do interviews. I knew how to keep in communication, and I hate emails. So I really had to get it together, but I've been getting better. So through Auburn and those organizations and classes, I've been able to excel.
Yeah, and what I would say, coming directly off that, actually, what I found in the recruitment process in Auburn accounting in specific, if you play your cards right, you can be talking to different firms and employers like as early as freshman year, and that was the case for me. And so, being able to build up those relationships pretty much every single semester, going back and as often as I can, staying in communication with different firms, it's really been beneficial to me. And I know that wherever I find myself going, I will have made, excuse me, a bunch of different relationships with a bunch of different employers. And so you can't really go wrong there.
Yeah, and I think it's worth kind of debunking the accounting stereotype of type A, boring, all the things that you kind of picture when you think an accountant, because as you've talked, like as they mentioned, this recruiting process, you get to talk to all these different firms, and they love trying to make them fun events. There's plenty of trivia nights. We've had to make them virtual, and when we were in person, it was lots of fun dinners and going bowling. So I think that is worth debunking that stereotype that you kind of have in our mind about accountants. So Janiyah mentioned Big Four. And so Julia, as someone who's already interned and a bit farther in the process, could you kind of explain what that means? And then where did you end up going and why did you make that decision?
Yeah, so Big Four is kind of a nickname that's given to the four largest accounting professional service firms. So it's mostly just based off like just their size, employee-wise, revenue-wise, and then another term you'll hear is going to be like local and regional firms. That regional is going to be like your more medium-sized firms, and local is going to be like your kind of smaller, just one office kind of firms. So some of the main differences is guys going to be like the type of work you'll do and like some of the opportunities within the firm. But I think which one I made my decision off of is it should be based off, they're both great opportunities for learning, growing, all that sort of thing. You're gonna enjoy both, but I think it should be based off of your personal kind of goals and your personal needs. So with talking more about location and size, so I would personally wanted to stay like family is a priority for me right now, so I wanted to stay closer to home in my family. And in my kind of small town, there's not a Big Four office. So for me to want to work there, I'd probably have to move to like a bigger city. I know we have a lot of go to Atlanta and Nashville and that sort of thing for Big Four. So sometimes like if you do want to stay smaller, you can find a medium or regional kind of firm or a local. And then you can probably get more like a broader exposure when you're in a smaller firm where you'll get to see a little bit of everything, whereas in a Big Four you're going to be more focused on one topic and kind of specialized in that. So like in tax at Big Four, you're probably going to work on the same either type of client or type of like tax form and area all the time. And then whereas like in a smaller firm, you'll see individual, business, not-for-profit, all kinds of different tax situations. And then so you're kind of getting a broader exposure as compared to a more specialized one. So like I said, I kind of made my decision based off being unsure of even what I was 100% interested in. So I wanted to get exposure to everything to make that decision. So I interned at a regional, and I have accepted a full-time position for after my master's program at BMSS, which is a regional kind of here in the state of Alabama.
That's great. And that was a really good explanation. You kind of get to learn more about that as you go through the recruiting process. You kind of get a feel for all the different firms. But the most main differences are mostly the size of the amount of people. And as you mentioned, like the revenue. And so she says she already has her job offer and she's accepted and she's not even done with school. So that is a really big perk of accounting, is this job security. We are really set up because there's always a need for accountants. So we're set up really well. Auburn specifically does an internship program spring of your senior year. It's not required, but heavily recommended, and they put some space into our schedule for it. And firms are constantly, they come to us, they want us, whereas, our friends in other majors may be stressed about finding internships, stressed about finding jobs. But as an accounting student, you know that there's jobs out there, and they're actively seeking you out. So I think that's most of our planned questions. So if y'all have anything y'all can throw into chat or Q&A and we can address, or if any of the panelists wanted to leave y'all with any kind of closing notes as we finish up, we're approaching 9:30.
So when I was in high school, I thought that I wanted to go into the medical field. So I took like a medical intro type class, sort of these like accounting class that you guys are taking. And that's where I learned that I didn't want to go into the medical field. So I would just encourage you, like, as you move forward, whether you choose accounting or not, to just like try things out and find out what you like, and like, get internship experience as soon as you can to see if it's for you or not.
One thing I would want to stress is that accounting isn't boring. Kind of like Catherine said, it's not the stereotype that everybody puts on it. I don't feel like I'm that like straight person that everybody puts in a box that is accountant that you see on the TVs or the movies. I'm very excited all the time. As you may see that I'm like that at 9:30 in the morning. So I feel like that you can be whoever you are in this field. And you don't necessarily have to just be an accountant for the rest of your life. After a few years of experience, a lot of different companies or corporations look for accountants because they know they have that basic understanding of what a business is and how cash works, inflows and outflows, which is the base of any business, making money. So if you understand money, then you're good, you're anywhere. So really accounting is the place to be.
We have something about excited to see the internship offering for Auburn's accounting curriculum. I touched briefly on that, but I think that's something that's really special to our program, because not every school has the opportunity to step away from their studies for a part of a semester to go do this internship, and it kind of gives you that time. You're not competing with everybody who's trying to do it during the summer, so you're able to go get that further experience to see, with the question of starting in public versus private, you can maybe do a private one in the summer and then use that spring internship to do public, and then before you even graduated, you've been able to experience both. For me personally, I'm doing a private accounting internship this summer. So I'll be working with an aerospace company. So it's completely not accounting related, but I'll get to see that corporate part. And then I'm going into my senior year and I'm recruiting for public internships, like public accounting internships. So I'll finish my degree and I'll have already seen both. And so I'll have a very broad kind of understanding of which one I prefer.
There's a question asking me why I picked accounting instead of medical, so I'll answer that real quick. So I thought medical at first because I think it's more glamorized, what you see in like TVs and movies. So I was like, oh, that seems exciting. Let's try it out while I'm in high school. And I don't think it fit my interest and personality. If I'm being honest, like I was like grossed out by a lot of the things in medical. And so I just didn't think it fit my interest. So I wanted to try something different. And I really enjoy accounting. It's not boring, like they said, like the stereotype. All the people you work with are super interesting people. There's so many opportunities and job security. And so just kind of solving, like, to me, it's kind of like a puzzle, and just solving those pieces is something I really enjoyed. So I wanted to make a career out of it.
And I know we're at the end of our time, and I wanted to thank all of our students for participating as panelists. You guys offered some really great perspective, and I think it's really helpful for students in high school to kind of see where they could be in 4 years and be in the same position as you with a whole world of opportunity ahead. I wanted to share with the educators that if you need more information about our organization, Auburn Beta Alpha Psi, you can visit our website. It is auburnbap.com, auburnbap.com. You also, all of our teachers have Catherine's contact information. I know that Catherine is more than happy to be a liaison between the university and our high school partners. We also have the privilege of working closely with the Alabama Society of CPAs. There's a lot of educator materials through the Alabama Society as well as the AICPA. So please be sure that you're taking advantage of those pre-created classroom materials if you're interested. So Catherine, I'm going to let you close this out, but thanks again, everyone, for joining. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, as Ms. Lakis said, thank you all so much for attending. I'm really glad that y'all could kind of get to hear from some of our interesting students. As you can see, there's lots that you can do within your education and in your career path. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And teachers, if you have any questions or anything you would like to hear from us later, feel free to reach out.